This is pure gold.
Is that what that's called?
Pure gold. Pure.
Oh, goodness gracious alive.
And I just realized I didn't get Instagram going because,
We're doing all that.
yeah. Hi there, folks. Welcome to our live stream. If you only knew what all's been going on behind the scenes, we've been having pairing issues with getting Dr. Tiffany Bree's channels connected to this live stream. And I've been on and off the phone with the service, and it's kind of been a pain in the butt. But here we are, coming in hot, literally in the last 2 or 3 minutes. I think we're getting good at that, Tiff.
I don't know if that's a skill we need to perfect.
I don't think we need to perfect that. I don't like it.
No.
But you know what? I got to say, I think anybody who's a little bit less than the two of us here might have folded under the pressure of getting done.
Whew, okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, Jim, whatever. Hi there, folks. So my name is Jim, and I used to be a type 2 diabetic. And I love saying that I used to be a type 2 diabetic because I used to be a type 2 diabetic. I have completely reversed type 2 diabetes. I'm in remission from type 2 diabetes. Some people don't like the word reverse. Some people like the word remission. I don't care what you call it. My doctor calls it. I don't need medications anymore. I used to have a 12.2. I now have a 4.8. I've been completely unmedicated since February of 23. So coming up on 30 months. And I'm holding strong. So I went to TikTok and started talking about this. And I've met some amazing people along the way. And we've seen a lot of people that are having some amazing experiences as well. And Dr. Tiff and I here decided to start doing a live stream together and kind of putting those people up front. Let them tell their story and then have a doctor explain why. Because I'm just some random barbecue dude, but she's got MD. So Dr. Tiff, I know about you, but tell everybody else who's new to us about you.
Yes. Well, hello. I'm so excited. If you all knew how much effort we had to put into this, you'd understand how much we care about getting this information out here.
Dr. Tiff, I want to add one thing, and that is that we were not able to get your channels connected. And that will be fixed next week. So if you're used to watching Dr. Tiff on her channels, trust me, we are going behind the scenes and making noise. We're trying to get that back. So that's a problem, but it will be back next week. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that in, Dr. Tiff.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, somebody's trying to quiet my voice. Not the first time, Jim. Okay, so bringing it back to being serious.
Is this an accident?
So I am a real medical doctor. I don't just play one on social media. I'm board certified in family and lifestyle medicine. Lifestyle medicine is a specialty trying to get to the root causes of conditions. And so after practicing for 20 years, doing private practice, doing telemedicine, doing urgent care, and then the last 3 years doing virtual primary care across 48 states, I saw just way too much that helped me to see that people need help. And I want to learn how to help them because clearly me prescribing things for blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, erectile dysfunction wasn't getting to the root because they still weren't getting better. They needed more and more meds, higher dosages, right? So I learned more, got the second board certification in lifestyle medicine, then turned around and decided I want to be a metabolic health coach too. Why not learn more? More I can learn, the more I can help my people. And so I did that. And once I started getting on social media talking about these great things that we know that are helping people do the lifestyle changes for some, and some people not making any changes at all, but being able to reverse their conditions they thought they'd have to have forever. And I came across somebody, a mutual friend, and we have been best buddies ever since, even when he doesn't pair my channels. That's how you know I still like somebody. Not just playing. I'm not going to blame you, Jim. But I was able to get off of my blood pressure medicine, stop having my hot flashes, help my family reverse their conditions and need less medicines. And I'm going to keep screaming this from the rooftops, channels or no.
Metabolic coach. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more because MD, everybody gives you love on the MD thing, but I want to kind of peel that back and real quick. That person. I got distracted by a nasty comment. Oh, by a nasty name. Okay. So, boy, I got really derailed. Let me pick myself back up here.
Yeah.
Dr. Ben Bickman. Everybody's impressed by the MD, right? How much of this that we're going to talk about is related to lifestyle choices? We're getting ready to dive into lifestyle choices. That's why, follow me here, Tiff. I got derailed, but follow me here. How much of this is related to lifestyle choices? How much of this can be controlled, reversed, dealt with through lifestyle choices? Diet, exercise, that sort of thing. Okay.
Lifestyle medicine, yeah.
So to that point, I want to talk a little bit about Dr. Benjamin Bickman. I want to kind of introduce him and lay a little bit of the groundwork with Dr. Ben Bickman. So if you don't mind, let me jump off course just a touch. And I want to talk about this dude right here. This is Dr. Benjamin Bickman, and this is his profile on Brigham Young University's website. This is byu.edu. You can see the page, right, Tip?
Yeah.
He is a professor of cell biology and physiology, and more specifically, he oversees the laboratory of obesity and metabolism, and he pays particular emphasis to the etiology of insulin resistance, which is something that Dr. Tiffany is going to go into great detail with here in just a little bit. But what I want to point out is how many courses he's taught on this. This is what he teaches. It's what literally what he's dedicated his life to. And if you just go through and look at the number of courses that he's taught on this, it's really ridiculous. And then you get to his publications, how many times he's been published on this. He's a science. We follow the science, right? Look at all these publications on things like metabolic disease, glucose intolerance, metabolism and glycemic control. This is what he does. It's what he's dedicated his life to. Now, why am I spending so much time on that? Because he has a website, and this is it right here. It's called insuliniq.com, and it is free to join. Anybody can join it, and I encourage everybody listening to join it. Now, Dr. Tiffany, will you build a little bit on what Insulin IQ is? Tell them what it is.
Well, because Dr. Ben Bickman wanted to help educate people to understand how our lifestyle and what we do can actually reverse these conditions. That's what this whole page and platform was set up with. And we have people like Lindsay Venn, who's the chief medical officer over metabolic health. And we have such great resources. And there's even a time where you can do a free trial for 7 days to see if this is right for you as a member. You can learn about the foods to eat. You can learn about how to do the fasting. And if you want to actually get connected with the coach, you can get connected with the coach. And having this resource is awesome. And it's not extremely expensive either. So it is definitely something worth looking into.
Now, the reason I kind of talk about that, Tiff, is you talk about going through and getting certified as a metabolic, in this. You're one of those coaches. So, guys, she really is like the next. This is one of the top people out there. She is a rock star, an absolute rock star. I'm beyond flattered, Dr. Tiff, that you would give any time to me the way that you do every single week. And I think I can speak for everybody else in that same way. Thank you very much for what you do. For everybody who's listening right now, if you've been tagged in this, if somebody has invited you to this, if they shared this live stream to you, what they think is that the information that's going to be in this live stream will benefit you. Okay? It will help you. So with that in mind, listen, we got about 50 minutes and this thing's going to be all over. We go live every week for an hour. Listen in. Dr. Tiff might just teach you something new, and maybe one of these testimonials will kind of break through as well. So listen, in the event that you decide, hey, you know what, I think I want to try this, to order the products, just get with the person who invited you here. It's so simple. It is so simple. And furthermore, if you are somebody who is on this system and you're having an absolutely amazing experience like so many people do, this is an awesome opportunity to put your people in front of Dr. Tiffany. So the way you do that on Facebook is you type the little @ symbol and you start typing their name. And at some point, it populates their name. You hit enter. On YouTube, on TikTok, just hit the little share button and share it. You can share it by text. You can share it by direct messages. You can share it however you want to share it. But the point is, share this thing out. Let's get the word out to as many people as possible. And in fact, I'm going to encourage everybody listening right now to share this at least 5 times. And I don't care if you're doing it through Facebook or if you're just texting it out, but let's see if everybody in here, we've got 35 people. If everybody shares this 5 times, that's 175 people would get this. And that'd be cool. So with that in mind, Dr. Tiff, tell us about your brother.
Oh, yes. Okay. For those that have heard me from time to time talk about, my experience and why I'm doing what I do, I was able to get my brother to come on today, which is huge. And he has a great story. We have a great story considering our father passed from a stroke after his 3rd stroke, from really not taking his medications, wanting to do something natural and not having a good answer. And here we are 20 years later with something that not only could have helped him, but I was literally able to help my brother too. Not only that, he has a history of doing comedy, a history of doing editing. We've been doing a podcast together. I mean, our last episode was the death of the food pyramid. You've got to see this, Jim. It is so silly. You got to listen to it. It's hilarious. But he gets it. He understands it. And so I am so excited that he agreed to be on today. So the floor is yours, Jared.
Oh, hey, thank you for having me on, everybody. I mean, it's really grateful to be here. We talk about so we talk about like the stories that we tell. Like, I mean, we in our lives, there's a lot of things that like kind of knock us down, a lot of things that kind of like hurt us or wound us. But at the end of the day, if we're still here and we're still able to tell our story, then that is the ultimate. That's like in my mind, that is success. So like that. So this is me sharing my success with you. When I was in the ICU the first time, now check that first time, I had no idea that I was diabetic at all. It hit me completely out of nowhere. It blindsided me, which is a scary thing. And in that moment, like I was sitting in that hospital bed surrounded by people maybe 30, 40 years older than me. And I promised myself in that moment that I would never be there again. And like I made the first major steps in like my personal health journey. Like I really started exploring martial arts. I became like an avid boxer. That was the thing that I was doing to control my blood sugar and everything. And things were going well for a time. I wasn't able to fully like reverse my diabetes from type 2, but I was close. I was getting there. All right. And this was me without the product. I wasn't using any of the product. I was very much just like doing like the medication that was given to me by the doctor. And so I was on that rhythm. I was doing that. And life knocked me off my horse. And like that, and that's the ultimate thing that like comes down is that like life is going to do that. That's what's going to happen. And when that happened, all I had left were my bad habits that I wasn't still able to get through. Yes, I was boxing, but my diet was like not great. I thought there was like, I hang out with like guys in their 20s all the time. And they say the funniest things, such as like, yeah, if you work out every day, you can eat whatever you want. Not true at all. And so so I was in that mindset, going through another trial. I was dealing with financial issues. I was dealing with a divorce and all those things. And my health, like in the background, was slowly but surely declining. And then so it wasn't until like I think it was fall a couple of years ago, I was feeling all the symptoms that I felt before when I ended up going to the ICU, and I was absolutely terrified because I promised myself I wasn't going to be there again. But I called Tiffany, and she level-headedly said, "Just get your behind to the hospital." And so no, she did not. That is me being more censored in that regard. So I took my behind to the hospital, and I found myself once again in the ICU. And Tiffany was there for me. That was actually like a pretty great moment for me and my sister. Is that like so many things in my life I felt like the bottom had fallen out, but my sister was there. But the ultimate issue that we had was like, how did I get back here again? And then how can I truly like not only stick to this promise, but also like grow from it? And like, just to give you like the idea of like the stats, like my AL1C was like well over 10. Like it was just like, I remember checking my blood sugars like the day before that happened. And they were in like the three, like the near 400s. And it was scary. It was really, really scary. And I felt like I had no control. I felt like I had no options. I felt like no matter what I did, I was going to end up back in this hospital and end up following the steps of my father. So paradigm shift. We had to pick a new option, and so Tiffany coming forward with this product, I committed to it. I mean, that was the option that we had. She was like, "No, he's going to be under my care. We're going to take these products. We're not going to do like the insulin. We're not going to do the metformin." But honestly, if I'm being honest, like Tiffany was there, I have like the insulin in my refrigerator still as kind of like a warning sign of just like of what it could be. And so I keep every time I open the refrigerator, I see the insulin first, and I'm like, okay, cool. That frames what I'm doing. And so I was taking the yerba mate tea. I was taking like the balance every meal, and I've been consistently doing that. And I I hate to be like, oh, everything like worked out, but like it did. Like, I mean, we talk about like me being able to, as it stands now, and like I I haven't been on it as well as I should have, and this is a key point that I want to bring forward. I have been doing the system as well as I wanted to, and my A01C dropped from well over 10 to now to just barely 7, and it's still going down. And so like, and that's like with minimal effort, people. That's me like putting in the cheat days. It's me putting those things. Like the A1C still went down, and so with that in mind, like that's just the diabetic side of these things. I think I've had significant others like tell me like, who is this new person that is that like who's like walking around in my house like with this different mindset. And I was like, I've been when I drink the tea, it's obvious. It's very, very clear that there is a direct support and balance of my mental health and my sense of clarity, my sense of maintaining a positive attitude, my sense of maintaining like a positive perspective. That has been insanely helpful. Like if by itself, that has been amazing support for me. And that's been my story so far. I mean, I've taken control of my health. I've taken back these years of my life that I feel like I lost. And I am working my behind off to get to a place where I can be insulin remit, like have my insulin go in remission. Yeah.
Oh man. Jared, I want to pick that apart a little bit. There's so many layers to this.
Yeah.
Starting with you, you're a comedian. I didn't know this.
Okay. I'm a former comedian. I consider myself, I'm a podcast host. I I determined that like I like making people laugh. That's what I love to do. That's like my natural state. But I realized that like I love to make people that I care about the most laugh. So it's like I equate my desire to create jokes to cooking. Like I make jokes for my family members, my friends, and that's all who I really want to make jokes for.
The reason I bring that up is the lifestyle that is associated with that.
Yeah.
The lifestyle that's associated with that business line, right?
Yeah.
And you see so many great comedians who on the inside, there was another layer there that I want to exploit, if you will, if that's the right word. But another layer that just the a comedy club is generally centered around a bar and bar food.
Yep.
You don't see a whole lot of ketogenic diet options.
No.
Right.
And sugar-free drinks at these types of venues, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that in and of itself is a challenge. And that when that is the path that you choose professionally, as you said earlier, like, hey, just saying I'm just going to change. That is a real challenge. That's a real thing when you're surrounded. It's like a truck driver telling a truck driver, hey, diet and exercise. When? Where? Right?
What? How? Like,
Okay.
yeah, I remember that was my lifestyle. I was very much like staying out till 3 a.m. minimum. Like that was like how I got work. That's how I got like opportunities, was like staying out that late and connecting. And I remember my co-host on the podcast, Lawson. He's also like a comedian. He was like, yeah, we were at this like spot. It was like maybe midnight, and the only places that were open around us for food was like a dollar pizza, and some of the best dumplings in the city, and like that, and that was, and it was hard for everybody. I mean, it was hard for everybody to maintain like a healthy lifestyle, but at the same time, like I think there were absolute warning signs. I mean, to be very clear, like my favorite comedian, the person that I kind of looked up to, like style wise, somebody that I really appreciate how he attacked the craft was Patrice O'Neill. May he rest in peace. He is also someone who is a famous like type 2 diabetic who also had massive health concerns. And I think about this day, I think about current events today, and I still desperately miss his voice. And like in the piece of me, and I remember in the circles of the people who actually knew him, the people that I look up to him, and it would always circle back to the same things. Like, I wish he took better care of himself. And like is like his and like that talent, that craft is now gone because of that lack of care. And I didn't want to really I didn't want to be I didn't want that to be my story, if that made sense. And so like that, yeah. So getting hit with that same disease was kind of like more than an eye opener. It was a massive like red flag warning sign. Pull the emergency
There
brake.
are a lot of comedians with that. Fluffy. There's one guy who calls himself Fluffy.
Yeah.
Okay. In addition to that, you mentioned you kind of touched on. You didn't dig very deep into it, but I want to dig just a little bit. Right? Give me one shovel scoop of it. You talked about depression.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think people realize how many comedians, people who make people laugh, struggle with depression. And front of mind, Robin Williams.
Right.
You know, there are so many people that struggle with that. And you mentioned also that your mind feels good right now.
Yeah.
And I'd really liked to dig into the gut-brain axis. Confucius was talking about this 2,000 years ago. Guys, there's got to be something there, right? There has to be something there, right? And so would you mind just kind of building on that a little bit? What kind of that has, how is that, if anything, maybe I'm reading too much into it.
No. I mean, that's been my current findings over the past year, is that there's like a direct connection between how I've been taking care of my diet, how I've been taking care of like my gut health, and my depression and my worldview. When I have like episodes where I find myself binging on a bunch of carbs and things at that level, I not only feel bad afterwards because of what I ate, it's just like it's a deep psychological effect that kind of comes with it. And I feel terrible. I feel not just bad, not like, oh, I'm down in the dumps. I feel like I feel like clinically like on the layer of like crisis to a point when I don't eat well. And so like the night and day of that is so obvious. Like when my body is able to just actually get back to a place of ketosis, when I'm like on a day to day, when I'm on a day to day like grind of like eating the right things, I feel better. I mean, the best way to is I don't want to talk about like, oh, I don't have depression anymore. No, I feel supported in fighting my depression with that diet. And like, and it's been insanely helpful. I can't, like, I have no choice but to just like admit that, like there's a better person on the other side of me taking these products, and there's a better person on the other side of me, like, managing my blood sugars in this particular way. I didn't realize there was a connection between me having like poor blood sugar, me having like poor health, and like my actual mental state. And it just took trial and error. I had to feel the difference.
And you had to listen to your sister. How about that?
Yeah, yes, I did. Got it.
Do this, right? Dr. Cynthia Calkin, she's amazing. Dr. Cynthia Calkin, she is a psychiatrist out of the Pacific Northwest, and she's really done a lot of work on this, specifically treatment-resistant bipolar disorder and a connection to insulin resistance. And her pathway is through something called the blood-brain barrier, which Dr. Tiffany is way more familiar than the rest of us, but she found a blood-brain barrier dysfunction and thought that there was a connection between blood-brain barrier dysfunction and insulin resistance, and tested her hypothesis with metformin and got positive results. And, I've talked a lot about that, and people are like, oh, metformin. I'm like, I'm not advocating for metformin. There is a connection, guys. There is an absolute connection. And I don't really talk a whole lot about this with me and my story. I talk a lot about diabetes, and I talk a lot about blood pressure, and I talk a lot about my cholesterol levels, and I talk about I had somebody today just told me I looked younger, and that felt pretty darn good, or that I looked leaner. But what I don't talk enough about, and I probably should talk more about, is my mental health. And I really was in some pretty dark places and some pretty tight spots. And what I have noticed, and a lot like to kind of echo what you said, it's not that I don't go there anymore. But what I have found is that I come out of there so much quicker.
Yep.
I don't stay. I don't stay in that dark room. It's like, I don't want to be here. And I find a way out real quickly. Whereas before, that dark room, I'd get stuck in there for days or even weeks or even months. It was like,
wow.
Especially the turning of the seasons, it was seasonal things. It was awful, to the point where I had a son. Actually, Bailey, my son, actually came to me one year and said, "Dad, how's your seasonal depression?" And I was like, "What?" And I didn't know that he knew. Right. And obviously, again, I think things happen. I'm not going to say that I don't struggle, but I don't stay struggling. I don't stay in those places.
Yeah.
So I like that you kind of I like that you were vulnerable. I appreciate that you were vulnerable and allow me to kind of exploit that a little bit, because I think there's a lot of people who they don't know. They haven't made that connection yet. And simply taking care of your gut, getting your gut in order, does so much more than just improve your metabolic, the things that are obvious. We get stuck in this measurement of, I got to lose 38 pounds. What is 38 pounds?
What is it? And there's so many other things you can keep track of. I mean, just to double down on what you were talking about, it's just like, it's the difference between being in a dark room and not knowing you're in a dark room versus like walking from a light room to a dark room. Like that's the way that I'll say it. Like when I'm not being supported by like the system, when I'm not being supported by the protocol, like I have no idea when I'm down until maybe weeks or even months have passed. And I'm just like, I'm just like, oh, this is bad. But like now it's clear. I feel it. I'm not in a great place right now. And then I can actually start putting like actions into place to get myself out of it. And that's everything. I mean, like I said, I never thought I could have this much control over my mental health struggles before I started using this particular system. And it was nice. It's been nice.
I love it, brother.
I love it.
Yes.
Yes.
I like your brother.
I mean, yes, he's likable. I love that man.
Something in the bloodline, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, it is.
All right, Jared, here's the deal. I took way longer, and so that really cut into Dr. Tiff's time, my future time, and our next guest.
So sorry.
No. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I hope everybody else doesn't mind. But what I would like to do is I'd like to turn your camera off, give the microphone to your sister to let her kind of go into some explanation here. And then I'd like to bring you back at the end if anybody has any questions for you. Does that work?
Yeah,
okay.
That's totally fine.
And I see that our other guest, Dr. Tiff, has joined. And I see you, Stella. We're going to have Dr. Tiff do her presentation, and then we'll be bringing you forward, Stella.
Oh, great. I love it. My brother got to be on the show, the live. I'm so excited about that. Woo! So y'all just don't know. Huh?
That was pretty awesome.
Right? But see, y'all don't know the struggle of me sitting at his bedside, watching him, thinking I have something to help him. So hence why I'm on this social media talking about this stuff every week for free. This is why I do this, people. Okay, look, what's the problem? We're dealing with cardiometabolic health, and that really is so many things. And according to Tufts University study, 93% of Americans are actually struggling. This is not a little bit of people, y'all. And you know what? I, for years, was trying to help people with these prescriptions, and they didn't really look better. They weren't really getting better. And we really can reverse all these things, or at least put them in check with our lifestyle. And so I love how Jared said that, is that he has more control. I'm about empowering people to take back their control. I mean, heart disease is still the #1 cause of death. It's been that way for decades, people, decades. So clearly what we're telling people isn't enough. It isn't working. And so when we talk about metabolic health, insulin resistance is right at the root, because heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, all these things are actually circling around insulin resistance. So they're either directly linked or indirectly linked. Blood pressure, low testosterone, so many things that people are struggling with. So what is insulin resistance? So when you think about insulin resistance, it's important to understand, how do the macronutrients play a role in insulin production? So carbohydrates, when they break down into your body, when you eat them, they break down into glucose. So that's going to make your pancreas release the most amount of insulin. Okay. And then your protein is going to make the pancreas release some, and your healthy fats barely any. So if you're looking at a day on how you're eating, and you wake up in the morning and you have this nice large breakfast, pancakes, French toast, or, you're trying to be good, you have some oatmeal, right? Well, that still is a carbohydrate, and that's going to kick up into a glucose spike, making your pancreas release insulin. And then you're going to drop a little bit, and you're going to be a little tired, and you're going to want something else. And usually the snacks we choose, they aren't your protein-rich snacks. That's going to make your body have to release insulin. Then lunch, your quick things that you go to, a lot of times, if we're going to be honest, they're carbohydrate rich, because we were told to eat 6 to 11 servings of carbohydrates a day and to snack every couple hours. So again, insulin up. Snack, insulin up. Dinner, insulin up. Dessert, insulin's up again and never has time to come down. So your cells are being bathed in this, and over time, your cells deregulate. They down-regulate those receptors to bind insulin, meaning they aren't listening. And so you have your insulin fighting to get glucose in the cell. This is happening way before your sugar goes up, because your pancreas is going to keep kicking out the insulin to push this glucose in there. And when that's happening, then you're getting all these other crazy symptoms. So sometimes your A1C may not be elevated, but you're having all these other crazy symptoms because your insulin is high. You're having the cravings for sugar and salty, difficulty losing weight, the dark patches on your neck, the skin tags, irregular menstrual cycles, the men having the man boobs, the erectile dysfunction, the low testosterone. Yeah, so many things. I call this place where your A1C is not up, but your insulin is high, I call it frustration land. Because when I used to see patients, they would come see me and they'd be complaining. Their A1C would be normal, but they had all those symptoms I just showed you. And they were frustrated, and I was frustrated because I didn't have an answer to help them. And so what was happening here is that the insulin was too high and I wasn't checking it. I didn't know to check it. And so now I do. And when insulin is high, it actually causes high blood pressure. It makes your kidneys have to hold on to sodium, and where sodium is, water follows. So that's going to increase blood volume. It also causes hypertrophy of the blood vessel lining. And so that's going to make that area thinner. And then it doesn't allow nitric oxide to work well, and that helps with dilating blood vessels. So that messes up and increases blood pressure. And then if you even add that on to erectile dysfunction, which I'll go into later, that's why it causes erectile dysfunction too. And then insulin, when it's high, ends up allowing you to actually make more triglycerides, decrease your good cholesterol, and then it turns around making more of the bad LDL. So not all LDL is bad, but the small, dense particles that get into your blood vessel lining, yeah, that's the stuff that actually closes off that blood vessel to increase heart disease risk. Then it causes PCOS, allowing you to have more cysts on your ovaries, causing more weight gain, causing hair growth on your face, facial hair, hair loss, and disrupting menstrual cycles, even causing infertility. It's the leading cause of infertility amongst women. And then menopause, the term I kind of made it myself. You have the erectile dysfunction that I actually touched on already. But because when insulin's high, it actually increases that conversion of testosterone to estrogen, you get the man boobs. And that's how you get the lower testosterone. And then the brain. We were kind of talking about this in regards to depression, because I do believe the insulin resistance of the brain even is involved in that too. But it really is involved in the gut, which I'm going to get to next. But it causes the dementia, the brain fog, the cognition issues. Even the up and down spikes cause the migraines. And then Alzheimer's itself is called type 3 diabetes, insulin resistance of the brain. And when this insulin resistance starts tackling on to chronic inflammation, then we start seeing all this other crazy stuff happening. Because that chronic inflammation messes up your T cell function. T cell function is there to tell our body what not to attack. And so when it doesn't have that filter, it's going to attack almost anything. And so when you have a leaky gut where things are seeping out of your gut because of the inflammation, you get toxins seeping out, you get viruses seeping out, you get stool seeping out, and that's in your abdominal cavity. And so your body's poised to attack it, but your body doesn't know where to stop attacking. So when it starts attacking your gut, from an autoimmune point of view, it ends up causing things like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. If it starts attacking your bones, it ends up causing things like rheumatoid arthritis. Lupus can cause arthritis too. It starts attacking your lungs. That's interstitial lung disease. Your brain, multiple sclerosis. So And I meant to touch on this, but I actually ran past that. And because you have that leaky gut, we need our gut actually working well, because 80% of our serotonin, which is involved in our depression and anxiety, which is a big scope of what we're talking about today, that comes from the gut. So if you're leaking out a bunch of stuff all over the place, you can see how that actually is affected with this insulin resistance, because that inflammation causes that. So there's 5 things you can do immediately. You can. And one would be trying to focus on a low carb or low glycemic index diet. And that you can get in the University of Sydney. They have a whole database for that. Avoiding processed carbs. No one needs to eat that. Exercise using resistance training is great, because that helps bring down the glucose and the glycogen stores. Having high fiber, huge. And we're going to talk about the tools, how they actually increase that, and time-based eating or intermittent fasting. And of course, stopping the processed foods. If this is the first time you're hearing me, be prepared, because I keep saying this. No one needs to eat that crap. No one. We don't even give our dogs processed foods. I'm going to say it. This is not even real food. I call this big fooder. Okay, bar-coded box, and package. That is not for us. It's actually addictive. It increases our dopamine stores. Okay, our dopamine actually responds when we eat it. And so then our brain is like loving it too much. And then we feel like we can't say no to it. And so many people are standing here addicted to sugar, addicted to carbohydrates, and they think it's just about willpower. It's not. And our carbs, especially the processed carbs, have been stripped of the fiber. That's what helps us be able to handle that glucose spike, so we don't have a big dopamine spike. Well, unfortunately, it's not there unless you're doing your whole grains, okay? And we need the fiber because it helps us fight off inflammation, but it also helps the cells become insulin sensitive, so your pancreas can get a break, okay? And fasting, like I talked about, but I didn't hit this part, autophagy. This is when your body starts to heal itself. Cellular improvement happens, and your cells start to repair themselves. Your gut repairs themselves, depending on the time that you're fasting, and you're literally shutting down what you're putting in your body, and your pancreas gets a break. Because if the problem is what I'm talking about, insulin resistance, you need your cells to not have to keep being exposed to insulin. So you need the pancreas to shut down. And so what's a way to help this? GLP-1. We have this hormone. Again, back to the gut. It's in our gut. It's released from the small intestine, and it delays gastric emptying and helps us think we're full. And Big Pharma figured this out. That's why they made a drug for it. They were trying to treat diabetes, but they also found, oh my gosh, people are losing weight with this. But this binds at a receptor to pretend like it's your GLP-1 hormone. Ozempic, Wegovy, and Rybelsus is a pill. And of course, it comes with baggage. It comes with side effects, as anything that is actually man-made. So 40% of the weight loss from those GLP-1s is lean mass. That includes your bone and your muscles and these other serious complications. Yeah, not good. Not good at all, right? And then when you have the weight loss, what happens is you end up having myostatin release, and it inhibits muscle growth. So you lose that muscle, and then you can't get it back, people. And after 2 years, how it stops the cravings, that goes away too. So it becomes, why in the world would I need to take this? What if I could boost my GLP-1 naturally? I'm here to tell you can. So the products we're going to talk about today, one, that chlorogenic acid tea actually improves sensitivity. I mean, it does some great things, reduces inflammation and oxidative stress. Those are things that kill us. Those are things that actually increase our cardiovascular risk. But not only that, the fiber part of this feeds our microbiome that has trillions of bacteria in it, trillions. And they need the right nutrients to actually treat our gut well, to actually help us remove toxins from what we eat. The combination of them together increases that GLP-1. And then when you tack on the fasting, increases it 70% when you're in a fasted state. So, of course, insulin resistance is not genetic. It's 100% lifestyle. I mean, you can really get a lot of these things in check with your lifestyle. And with these tools, it becomes a no-brainer. And we have the lab data to prove it. We have the receipts. And because of that, I feel like I'm a superwoman every day. This is me. I'm Dr. Tiffany, and I am on TikTok, Facebook, IG, and YouTube. That's it.
Rock star. Absolute rock star. Where'd you get the picture from?
Which one? My superwoman?
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT does everything.
I know.
I'm waiting for ChatGPT to learn how to drive my truck.
Right.
You know what? I'm kind of in. I get it. Okay, so our second guest, I'm really, really excited about. She's having some issues, and truthfully, I don't think it's her. I think it is Restream. Guys, here's the deal. We use Restream. It's a service, restream.io, every single week to put this out to everybody. And this week, Restream was really cool. Oh, here she is. Restream was really cool, and it started giving us a hard time. But here she is. Hi, Stella.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Dr. Tiffany.
Hello.
How are you?
Nice to see you, both of
Well,
you.
you know what? This is super cool. Let me do a little bit of an introduction here, okay? So, Dr. Tiffany, I've been on TikTok for about 2.5 years talking about these products, and I had to look it up. Stella came across my live stream, I think somewhere around, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stella,
Okay.
May or June of 23.
June of
June of
23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to hear her story. But a lot of people, I do a lot of in-person presentations around the country now. I'm traveling around the country, and I show testimonials at times of people, this is the text message that they sent me, and Stella sent me a text message, and I show that. So many people, if you've seen me present in person, then you've seen the text that Stella sent me. And so with that in mind, Stella, tell us about you. Where were you at when you came across that live stream, and where are you at today?
Okay.
Give us the details.
I'll give you a short summary. I'll try. My diabetes was not going down in regards to my A1C. It was at 8.6. And that night when I came back from a doctor's appointment and got the results, and my doctor wanted to increase my metformin and put me on something else, and which I ended up doing that, following doctor's orders, and thinking that was the best thing. And I go on TikTok, and there's Jim talking about this product, the Feel Good system, and I was like, oh, there's something here. And I kept listening over and over. So that night I ordered the product, went on Jim's page, ordered it, and started drinking it like within, I'd say, a week of when I got the product. And I went from 8.6 A1C to 6.6 in 3 months. Now the weight didn't come off like I wanted to, but that's not the product's fault. That's my fault because I have a sedentary work that I do. I work for a law firm and I'm in front of the computer all day. So there's not much movement here, even though I would like to, but I run out of time. Sometimes I work 12, 13 hours, 14 hours. And by the time I'm done, I don't want to go to the gym and do all that. So,
That's
the
the text.
yes, that's the text. So I have been on Unicity with using the yerba mate tea. I do that either once or twice a day. I just started using the Stronghold, and that has really helped too. I love that new product. It's like an electrolyte, and it just helps more to feel better and to sustain. Now, I had not been able to get past a 16-hour fast. I yesterday finished a 23 and a half hour fast. I was very excited about that, and I felt great. I wasn't hungry. I had energy. I was able to work on cases without any problem, and no issues of like not remembering things, nothing. So it was great. That was the first time that I've done that. And so I tried today, couldn't make it. I made it to 18 hours fasting, and that was it. So it's helped a lot. I have to share one thing where I really tested out, or where the product got tested like extensively, was in 2024. I ended up not being able to eat for quite a few days and weeks because my son was in the hospital. And they didn't think he was going to make it. And so I, as a mom, couldn't eat, didn't want to leave his side. And Unicity, the yerba mate tea, it allowed me to stay focused. Now, food wise, I could lose, I could not eat. I could go on for days without eating. But my mental clarity and my ability to not lose it during this time and afterwards, um, it really held me together. And I was not hungry or anything. And like I said, I was able to um, be in a very difficult situation, but yet I know that my mind was fine with the product, with the tea, because that's what I lived on for days. And it's been better with the balance. I use that too. So before I have dinner, I have a balance, and it helps to not fill the plate up as much. My portions are smaller. I have, I'm not going to say how much I've gone down, but, or where I was to where I'm now, but I'm down 20 pounds. So I just really want to keep going. And and I'm encouraged with other people that are on the programs that say, oh, I've done uh, a 3-day fast, a 4-day fast. I can't wait to get to that level. And I really think that I can by using this product. I thank Jim immensely because he's changed my life with all the information that he provides and the encouragement. And it's it's a lifestyle change. It is something that I plan on using all the time because it's so beneficial. And like I said, I will continue using it because it is awesome. The way it makes you feel, how you process things, the mental clarity, the energy. I used to take naps at lunchtime. I could barely make it before and uh, during the day, and lunchtime would get there, and I would have to go and lay down for half an hour to an hour because I had no energy, like none, wiped out totally. Now I don't do that. I work harder than my husband, my daughter that's 30 years old, and I can outrun them. I can outrun my grandson that's 12. And so, you feel better physically and mentally. And yes, Dr. Tiffany, your doctor, I mean, your brother, what he said about how it helps it with our mental state, very true. Um, so I could go on, but I won't.
This is absolutely beautiful, and I love the sincerity. This is what I knew people were going to love about you, Stella, was that it's the sincerity. This is real. That is real. That is an actual. Do you feel bad? Try this thing. Maybe you'll stop feeling bad. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll stop feeling bad. And I love the sincerity. You are about as real as they get real. I love it. Love it. Love it. You almost put a tear in my eye.
Oh.
Not this close. Okay, Stella, what I would love to do is the same thing with Jared. I'm going to turn your camera off. I want to jump over. I'm going to briefly go through how we use the products. And then I'd like to bring you back out with Jared and just have if anybody has any questions, that can ask the panel any questions in the last couple of minutes of this live stream. Does that work for you?
Oh, of course.
You're amazing.
Okay. Sorry.
You're absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Am I right, Tiff? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And guys, I gotta say, at 2 years, that's the first time I've ever seen Stella.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy. The impact that somebody can have on it. And the thing is Stella knows what I look like. I've never seen her before.
Right. All right.
Okay, so how does this work? And we kind of heard Stella talking about it. How does this work? I'm going to blow through this. There are 2 products, one great practice. The practice is intermittent fasting, 16 and 8 time-based eating schedule. And I'm going to say that loosely. Okay. The actual practice is 16 and 8. Now you heard Stella talking about maybe going 3 and 4 days without food. And you're probably thinking, I don't think that sounds interesting. No, thank you. Is that what this is all about? We're just getting, no, I get it. We were all there. And you don't ever have to do that if you don't want to. You don't ever have to. What Stella noticed was that at 23 hours, your mind is crisp.
Yeah.
Your mind is crisp. At 2 days, you feel amazing. It's as though the inflammation has left the body, right? And then at 3 days, I swear I could go back to college and take on a calculus course. Be like, I'm ready. I got this, right? Anyway, you don't have to do that. What we're talking about is a minimum of 16 and 8. So how does this look for me personally? At 8 p.m., I'm done eating food for the day. I don't eat after 8 p.m. If you eat after 8, it's a bad habit. It is not hunger. It is a bad habit. So don't do it. You've had dinner, close the pantry, close the fridge, go to another room. Okay? Read a book, do something different. Get your mind out of there, and it will get easier. I promise it will get easier. Now, I don't eat again until noon the following day. That's a 16-hour block of time. Now, it is completely flexible. You're saying, hey, I work the graveyard shift. That schedule sucks for me. Well, just move the 16 hours around the clock. Put it somewhere else that fits your need. What I like about my schedule is that I sleep during about 7 or 8 hours of that 16-hour fast. When I wake up, I've got about 5 hours to go. It's not so bad. Okay? Really, the extent of this fast is skipping breakfast. Now, during that time, you heard Stella talking about yerba mate, the tea. So the tea is a yerba mate extract. It is not yerba mate. It's so much more than yerba mate. It's about 20 cups of yerba mate with regard to chlorogenic acid. And you heard Dr. Tiff kind of briefly go over chlorogenic acid. I've gone into depth on chlorogenic acid. We don't have the time right now, but this tea has about 20 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of yerba mate. And it costs $2.25. Now, Dr. Ben Bickman has published research on it and suggested that it increases your body's ability to burn fat. It makes you a better fat burner. It makes you a more efficient fat burner. In addition to that, he says that it increases GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. And it costs $2.25, guys. It costs $2.25. So what do? We drink 2 of them per day. Let me get my second packet. We drink 2 a day. We spend $4.50 on a tea that will make you feel amazing. $4.50. If you took that out over 30 days, that would be $135. The system costs $159. That means balance, which is the second part that Stella was talking about, costs $24. Now, this product right here has been studied all over the world. UNLV, Stanford. We always talk about the Cleveland Clinic. And the Cleveland Clinic did what's called a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized clinical trial. That particular study was peer-reviewed, it was published, and it's been cited at least 20 times. What they found was that such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Dr. Tiffany, those are statins, right?
Right.
Okay. So that was published in 2002. That's more than 20 years old. We've known that there was another solution for quite a while. In fact, this was developed as BioSlife by Rexall Pharmacy in the late 80s. Guys, this is not new. This is not new. And I asked the question, why haven't you heard of it? And you know why you haven't heard of it. The easy answer is the right answer. We know why we haven't heard of it. In addition to the Cleveland Clinic, it was also studied at the University of Sydney, Australia. The University of Sydney, Australia is the home of the glycemic index. And what that statement means is that, no, they did not invent the glycemic index, but what they do is they maintain the International Glycemic Index database as well as website. So if you type glycemicindex.com into your computer, it will take you to the University of Sydney, and there you can find the index or the database, and you can look up any food. They design the testing, they hold the foods, the values, they do all of that. That team is led by Professor Dr. Jenny Brand Miller. Now, Dr. Jenny Brand Miller found that BioSlife, aka Balance, reduced blood glucose levels by 20 to 28% and blood insulin levels by 13 to 27%. If you just did a quick Google search, you would find metformin's going to fall in the 25 to 30 range. So that's a powerful thing. In addition to that, she found that it lowered the glycemic index of all three test foods: white bread, white rice, mashed potato, from high to medium. I want to like unwrap that statement real quick. It lowered the glycemic index. So the glycemic index is a measurement, a scale from 1 to 100. Okay? And foods that are high are going to cause your blood sugar to spike higher and faster than foods that are low. So a 100 is going to spike your blood sugar high and fast. In fact, a 100 is white bread. Sugar isn't even a 100. Sugar itself, table sugar, the stuff we add to our cake, is not even a 100. White bread is. So when she found 20 to 28% reduction in blood glucose, she had given her test patients white bread. And then she also gave them, in a second study, white bread, mashed potatoes, and white rice, all of which are high. That is defined as above 70 in the glycemic index. And in all cases, it lowered the glycemic index to medium, as well as the insulin index. It took a bad food and made it better. Dr. Jenny Brand Miller. Now, Dr. Tiff, I am trying to breeze through this. That's kind of it. But the PDR, the Physician's Desk Reference, this is a tool. We love Dr. Tiffany. We love her. She went to school for a very long time to have that MD after her name. Dr. Tiffany, have you memorized every contraindication, every side effect, every drug interaction, every adverse reaction, every dosing consideration for every pharmaceutical ever invented?
Of course I did. Didn't you see the superhero doctor? Of course I didn't.
It is completely unreasonable to expect even the wonderful Dr. Tiffany to have memorized all of that.
No.
So what does she do? She turns to the Physician's Desk Reference. Guess what? These are in the Physician's Desk Reference. Dr. Tiffany, rhetorical question. Is Lipton iced tea in the Physician's Desk Reference?
I don't think so.
Is Metamucil in the Physician's Desk Reference?
Definitely not.
They aren't the same. These are clinically backed. They are scientifically proven. There's 5 patents. There's more than a dozen clinical validation studies on them. These are special. They cost $159 per month. $159 per month. A little over $5 a day. The key to this is, if you try their products for 3 months, 90 days, they will guarantee your money. If you're not satisfied, they'll give you all of your money back. Simple. What they're guaranteeing is your satisfaction. What that sounds like is lower A1C, lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, lower body weight. They are guaranteeing you're going to be satisfied. If you're not, ask for a refund. They accept HSA, they accept FSA, they accept credit cards, debit cards, you name it. Okay, if you want to order the product, get with the person who shared this live stream with you. This was an amazing live stream, Dr. Tiff. This was an absolutely amazing live stream, and we are up against the clock. So, what questions does people have for us? What questions does anybody have for us? And Ruth King says, great live. I agree.
Oh,
Craig Lindley. Craig says, is it 20 times or 10 times? Craig, the answer is both. 20 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of yerba mate and 10 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of coffee. And that's a very important statement, because in nature, the most abundant resource on earth for chlorogenic acid is a green coffee bean. So to make a statement like, hey, this is 10 times the chlorogenic acid of a typical cup of coffee, that means I don't know of a single source. If we were looking for supplementation, I don't know of another source that's higher than this in concentrated chlorogenic acid. Okay.
May I add something to that?
Yeah.
So many years ago, I drank a Red Bull and I ended up in the urgent care because they thought I was having a heart attack, and it was just one Red Bull. I do not get jitters. I don't get the heart racing. None of that with the yerba mate. So if people are worried about that, it does not do anything. And I sleep better. And that has been an issue for me.
We can attribute that to theobromine. And so theobromine, Dr. Tiff kind of glazed over that as well. And I'm going to be really brief because we are definitely up against the clock. Theobromine is something that naturally occurs. It kind of pairs with caffeine.
Mhm.
And if you've ever been told, hey, I'm depressed, eat some dark chocolate, that's
Mhm.
theobromine. If you have ever heard of the crystallization of uric acid at the surface of the skin, guess what? Theobromine helps to inhibit that right there. If you
Mhm.
suffer from gout, if you suffer from uric acid kidney stones, theobromine can be an aid there. It's been proven to do that. Now, Unicity Unimate is very high in theobromine as well. So there's all sorts of other benefits in addition to the chlorogenic acid. Okay, so Stella, I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions come in.
Okay.
Stella, there are a lot of people who are on the fence, and I love asking this question week in, week out. There's a lot of people who are watching this and saying, boy, that just sounds like it's a bunch of BS, right? This is a gimmick. There's no way this thing can do it all.
No,
You've
no
got
gimmick.
30 seconds. What do you say to that person?
It is not snake oil at all. It is the best thing that I've ever gotten to be on. Seriously. And I would not use it. I will continue to use it because of the benefits and just because of how it's changed my life. I don't want to be a statistic and die from diabetes, which is what I have, and all the other consequences that come from being on the medications that are not good for us and stuff like that. So my goal is to get off medications and to keep losing weight because my daughter needs me and my grandkids, they need me. So that's my goal, to be around for them and to just drive them nuts, by having the energy that they don't expect an old person, like they say, to have. So it's my insurance for long term to not have the health issues. So
I
if
love it.
you're on the fence, I wouldn't be on the fence. I would jump right in. So,
I love it. Jared, the same question at you, my brother. What do you say to that person who thinks this is too good to be true?
I mean, it saved my life. Like, I was in that hospital bed, and I don't want to go back. And I wish I could go back in time and share this with my dad. Like, I wish there was something I could do to help him, to, like, because he didn't want to be on those medications either, because he saw was on the bad side of the diabetes medication, but there wasn't the information that we have now. And so, yeah, I mean, do what you want to do. It's your life, but you got to take control of it. And this helped me. I have no reason to say anything other than that this was that thing. This was that special
And
ticket for
I
me.
don't want to go back.
No.
so true. Yeah.
Mic drop with that one, man. And I don't want to go back. You guys are amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
So are you.
Thank you.
Both of you. Thank you,
I'm
Dr.
in good
Tiffany.
company. I'm in really good company. And you know what? Here's the deal. And I don't want to speak for Dr. Tiff, but all we did was showed you something. You're the ones that did the work,
Yep.
right? And it's amazing when you actually set your mind to something, when you actually convince yourself, hey, I'm sick and tired of being in this place right here. I want to go over there. I want to be in that healthy group of people. I'm tired of being right here sick. I'm tired of being right here. I want to go over there. I'm going to go over there. Do you want to come with me? You know what I mean? Once you put your mind to it and you say, okay, and Stella, in your story, you were talking about it's getting easier. A good friend of ours, Ro, and I think I said this last week, she has this saying,
Ro's amazing.
yeah,
It's an inspiration to me too.
the results are addicting.
Yes.
And actually, Jared, I think you were saying something along that where now you're feeling compelled to do some exercising. You're feeling compelled to eat better.
Yeah.
It encourages you. Hey, man, I don't want to feel like that anymore. And maybe it's as simple as I don't want to go back. That might just be I don't want to go back there.
Mhm.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, Dr. Tiffany.
Yes. Thank you both. Mhm.
This one was absolutely amazing.
It was.
Could
It was.
be right up there with the best ever. What do you say, Doc? We came in, we finished this one hot.
We sure did. We did. And what's important is that if there's anybody sitting at home that's struggling and they don't want to do the prescriptions, but they're sitting at home doing nothing, we're talking about something that is natural and is actually giving people their life back. And it becomes something definitely worth looking at. So you don't leave your family like our father left us, or like plenty other family members have left people. We have an answer, and it is saving lives.
You know, I'm going to build on that really quick. A good friend of ours, Yvette, and a lot of people know of Yvette. She said in a live stream recently, I was watching her live stream because I love listening to her, right? And I was listening to her, and she said, and she's got, you got to understand her accent. I'm going to do my best. The fact that I have to tell you that this natural thing beats the chemical, the fact that I have to convince you that natural is better than chemical tells me exactly how loud the volume is on your television. I was like, whoa, that was big. That was big.
Yeah.
There is an option. There is an option. Okay. Give this thing a shot. If you decide you want to do with this, get with the person who referred you here. If you stumbled across the live stream, get with either Dr. Tiff or myself. We will point you in the right direction. You order this, go into it with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Go into it with a 90-day money-back, or a 90-day mindset, because they give you a 90-day money-back guarantee. Go into it with a 90-day mindset. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be committed. I'm going to go hard. And let's see what you look like in 90 days.
Yes.
Dr. Tiff, rock star.